as well as the reason, uh, why Varnashrama system is given by the Lord to all the jivas. Third is understanding karma on the platform of jnana. Fourth is sacrifices that lead to transcendental knowledge. We'll discuss about why sacrifice is important. What does it give us? If you sacrifice the right things, what do we get and its importance? And lastly, we'll have a summary of the transcendental knowledge. Now, for this chapter, the acronym is yours. So I request all of you to hear properly as well. E stands for eternal education. So we'll understand the origin of uh, the transcendental knowledge. A is for accurate understanding. So we need to understand the information properly, and especially about the different parts that will come in the future slides. Third is R, removing reactions. It is not removing only sinful reactions, it's removing all reactions. So we'll understand why that is important. And also, S is for sacrifice. So what do we have to sacrifice? Just to give a quick hint, for gaining material knowledge, we need a certain caliber. But for gaining spiritual knowledge, we need character. And so to develop the character, we need to sacrifice. And so we will see what all do we have to sacrifice. It'll come up. So before starting off, let me connect with the last chapter, chapter 3. So yesterday, as Hasini has very well described about, talked very well about how lust covers a true intelligence, because of which we forget our true relationship with the Lord. And so to uncover it, we need the transcendental knowledge. And the way that we get it is through Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is dutifully doing our work and surrendering all of the results that we get unto the Lord. We are detached from the works. And in that way, we get the jnana, we get the proper knowledge, like how yesterday the the steps, how Asini said, first step is Karma Kanda, then Sakama Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, then Jnana, and at the top it's Bhakti Yoga. So we'll see that. And we'll also, this chapter will elaborate on the transcendental knowledge and how do we actually receive it, what is the proper authority and proper way to receive it. And we'll also learn how to perform the highest level of karma yoga and surrender all of the results to Krishna. So, to surrender all of our results to Krishna, we need to know who Krishna is and what the origin of the knowledge is. So, there is a very misconception that the Bhagavad Gita was first given by Krishna to Arjuna 5,000 years ago in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That is wrong. The actual origin is that the Lord Shri Krishna, he first gave the knowledge to Vivaswan. Vivaswan is Surya Dev, sun god, and because he is the ruler of all the planets, so he needed to have the right knowledge to be a good king. And then Vivaswan gave it to Manu, the father of mankind, the progenitor of humanity. And then Manu gave it to his son Ishwaku, and then a parampara was developed. Um, and also, then what happened was that, unfortunately, just like the game, as one Prabhu put it very well, there's a game called Chinese Whispers, where you have the game master who will give a phrase, and then the game master will give that phrase to the first person, and the first person player has to say that exactly to the second player, and it goes so on and so forth. And the goal of the game is to make sure that the message is not changed; it remains exactly as it is. But unfortunately, as humans, we make mistakes knowingly or unknowingly. And because of that, 5,000 years ago, the Lord decided that the knowledge was lost. The proper knowledge to go back to Him was lost. Not only because of this Chinese whisper phenomena, but also there were a lot of demoniac people twisting the scriptures for their own favor, and they were changing it. It was not as it is. So the Lord descended 5,000 years ago to give the knowledge to Arjuna. And one more fact is that the Lord first gave the knowledge to Suryadev Vivaswan about 120,400,000 years ago. Now, we understood the history, but we need to understand what qualification does one need to receive the knowledge. So there is this very interesting story of this South Indian Brahmana. So there was this one Brahmana. Uh, He's a South Indian illiterate Brahmana. And one day, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw him reading the Bhagavad Gita. He's trying his very best to read it. And Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that the Brahmana was crying. So Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and asked, uh, "Oh, Brahmana, why are you crying?" So then the Brahmana says, "The Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the topmost, but he's working as a charioteer for his best friend Arjuna. So, and he is crying because of that. And that is when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You have understood the Gita perfectly." So, what is the moral? You don't need any lavish material qualification. This is available to the most illiterate of people, to the people with the highest degrees, PhDs, and whatnot. It is for all men. The only qualification required is to accept Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. And one more point that I missed was that the Brahmana was saying that it was his guru's instruction for him to read the Bhagavad Gita. That's why he's trying so hard to read it. So that's also an important point of surrendering unto the guru, because with his mercy we can understand the true knowledge. Now we have understood the qualification, we have understood the history, the origin. Now, let us move on to understanding the true nature of Gita. So, when Sri Krishna said that I gave the knowledge first to Vivaswan, Arjuna asked him, how is that possible? Suryadev is such an old entity, and the Lord came way after that in Mathura. So, uh, Arjuna gave him the perfect opportunity to describe about himself, the true transcendental nature of Krishna. Now, one thing that I want to make it clear is that Arjuna was not someone in true, dilemma. He was actually an eternal servitor of the Lord. He's a truly self-realized soul, and he's just acting on our behalf. In fact, Srila Prabhupada in the purport says that Arjuna was actually present at some capacity when Krishna first gave the knowledge to Vivasva. So Arjuna already knew everything, but he's acting for our benefit so that we also get the knowledge. So now let us understand the difference between Krishna and the living entity. The first is Krishna is eternal. He remembers the past, present, and future. He's Achyuta, means he never forgets. He's infallible. But us, we forgot what we ate a few weeks ago, let alone our previous lives. Second difference is that his body does not deteriorate, avyaya. But ours, it goes through birth, death, old age, disease. But you will never see the Lord being growing old. There is no image of the Lord with frail body, with a beard, white hair everywhere. You'll never see such an image of the Lord. And one point to note is that although the Lord appeared as a small child to Mother Devaki and he grew as a teenage boy, but he never grew past youth. He's always youthful. He never grows old. So that is something to keep in mind. Next is the Lord appears by his own will. In the future slides, we will see why the Lord comes, when he comes, what does he do when he comes. That will all be discussed. But the thing to understand is that the Lord comes of his own free will. But us, we have to appear because of some karmic reactions. Maybe we have done something good. That's why we have to be born in a good family to enjoy. Maybe we have done something bad, so we'll be born in a very, as some animal or an insect, and we have to suffer. That is just how it is. Then the Lord's body is transcendental, but our body is material, right? The Lord, there is no difference between the Lord's name, the Lord's body. It's all the same. It's Advaita. But for us, our body, we know that we are different from the body. We have soul, and the body is something else. It's made up of the five gross elements, three subtle. It's something else. It is not what we are. It's material. But we are spiritual, just like the Lord. Qualitatively, we both are the same. Quantitatively, we are different, just like how Sri Lakshmi explained in the previous class. Now, to understand, there is a very wonderful analogy that is the sun. So, this can either be sunrise or sunset. See, the Lord's appearance and disappearance are like the sun rising, moving before us, and then disappearing from our sight. When the sun is out of sight, we think that the sun is set. When the sun is before our eyes, we think that the sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position. Just because we cannot see it doesn't mean it exists. So the Lord is eternal and ever existed. Now there are two very famous shlokas that most Indians know. Uh, would anyone like to recite the first shloka, Bhagavad Gita 4.7, along with the translation? Yeah, that's it.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Translation: Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
Thank you. So, just as I said before, this shloka answers when the Lord comes. When does he come? He comes when there is a decline of religious practice and then increase of irreligious activities. At that time, the Lord comes. Now, let us see what does he do when he comes here. Um, would anyone like to read Bhagavad Gita 4.8? Yes, Tulsi, go please.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्मसंस्थापनार्थाय सम्भवामि युगे युगे. Translation: To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium.
Thank you, Tulsi, go please. So, to deliver the pious, who are the pious? The pious are the pure devotees of the Lord, right? Second, to annihilate the miscreants. Miscreants means those who are the lowest of the lowest. And then third, to re-establish principles of religion. The Lord appears. The Lord has three reasons. He comes here to do three things. Now, the importance of these things are also very needed to be understood. The Lord's primary focus is to help his devotees. That is his primary reason why he comes here. We have many stories. For example, Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord came as Narsingadev to protect Prahlad Maharaj. So his first priority is to protect and serve the devotees. That is how merciful he is. Second is to annihilate the miscreants. He destroys the miscreants. But it is not like he's doing out of hatred or rage. In fact, he's so merciful that when he kills the miscreants, they actually get liberation because they see the Lord before their death. That is how merciful he is. And then he comes to re-establish principles of religion. A story that I want to tell about how he annihilated miscreants is example you can take Putana. Just when Krishna was just 3 years old, Putana came to poison Krishna. But how did Putana? She fed Krishna. But Krishna, seeing this, he promoted her, gave her liberation, and made her his nurse in the spiritual world. That is how merciful he is. So punishing demons is not like he's throwing them away or anything. He's actually liberating them. That is how merciful he is. But let us look at the most merciful avatar of Sri Krishna, and that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are these two brothers called Jagai and Madai, and they were the most sinful of people. It's said that there was no sinful activity that they did not commit. They even had the audacity to physically harm Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu. But Lord Chaitanya was so merciful that he helped them. He gave them Krishna prema, and that is also is important for us also to understand that in this age of Kali Yuga, the Sankirtan Yajna that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us is the only way back to Krishna. So it is very important to keep this in mind. Now, Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata yaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti. So Arjuna. Translation: One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So here Krishna is telling that why do if we get the transcendental knowledge, then how will it help us? It will help us because we don't have to be here anymore. Right? If we know his appearance and his activities, upon leaving the body, we can go back to him and we can serve him. So that is why it is important to get the transcendental knowledge. Now, we have covered the first half. We have covered the first part. E. E is covered. That is eternal education. We have understood its importance. We have understood its origin. We have understood what qualifications do we need. Now we move on to the next part, the accurate understanding. And so that we need to know how to we have to know how to apply the transcendental knowledge. So there are three key points that I want to discuss. So the first is that people on different paths are not realizing different things. They all realize different degrees and aspects of Krishna. So there are multiple paths to achieve to go back to Krishna. For example, the Lord gives impersonalists. They are ones who want to go back to the Lord, to the Brahma Jyoti, right? They want to, Srila Prabhupada called it spiritual suicide, right? They want to go back to the Brahma Jyoti, right? So it is not that the different parts lead to different things. It's that there are different degrees, right? So, like, it's for example, it's like how in a train station, let's say you're going from Delhi to Kanyakumari, right? So it'll have a stop in Mumbai. It is the destination, the moving towards the same direction is that you stopped a little earlier, right? So what we have to understand is that there are three ways to realize with Brahman. We have Paramatma, we have Bhagavan. So Lord said that Bhagavan is the ultimate. So we just need to understand that, and we have to be Krishna conscious and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His two-handed flute form. That is Bhagavan himself. So that should be our aim. But the Lord wants to make it clear that it's just different degrees, and that the misconception that all spiritual paths lead to the same destination is wrong. It leads to different degrees. That is one thing. Second is that Krishna creates varnashrama dharma so that people could purify themselves by regulating their desires. So there are people who want to do fruitive activities, right? So then the Lord gives them a set of instructions on what to do, how to do it properly, and then by doing it, they can then slowly be detached from their work, and then they can get jnana and go back to Krishna. So he has created the varnashrama dharma. And one thing, one misconception that you have to make sure to be completely clear of is the entire caste system and whatnot. That is completely wrong. It is your varna is dependent on guna and karma, right? So karma means your activities, what you do, right? So it is about merit as well. So even the son of a brahmana can be a drunkard, meat eating person, and even the son of a shudra can be the highest of the highest Vaishnava. So it does not matter on birth, but it matters more on what you do after your birth. That is more important. That is to be emphasized. And this is a very important part. One could then ask, if Krishna, the Supreme Lord, gives a soul whatever he wants, why don't more people surrender to him? Why do they worship others to fulfill their desire? The reason is first is the lack of, because of the ignorance of people. And even if they know, they are greedy for quick results. So they think that this demigod he'll give me this very quickly, so I'll worship him. This other demigod will give me this, so I'll worship him. Right? This the analogy is like bubbles in the cosmic ocean. Whatever benediction they give, it is just like bubbles in the cosmic ocean. It's very temporary. It will immediately go. It is nothing is permanent, right? So we need to understand that we have to serve the Lord Himself directly. There's a very famous analogy of the tree. You water the roots, you don't water each individual part. So if you water the roots, which is equivalent to worshipping Krishna, then the rest of the tree, which is all the rest of the other devatas and demigods, are all pleased simultaneously. So that is an important thing to understand. And another thing is that another very big misconception is that people think that, oh, Hinduism or like this entire world, like, there are so many gods. People assume like there are so many gods. Shiva is equivalent to Vishnu, is equivalent to Brahma, like, polytheism. That is completely wrong. In fact, Prabhupada says that is atheism itself. That is equivalent to atheism. Krishna re-emphasizes the fact that it is monotheistic and that he is the supreme Bhagavan. He is the only Lord. Krishna is through Bhagavan Swayam. And even Brahma himself says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karnam Karanam, cause of all causes. Ishvara, the supreme Lord, is Krishna himself. And even the Lord says that I am the conclusion of the Vedas. Right? So the supreme Lord Shri Krishna is the supreme. There is no one above him. He is the topmost. That is to be understood. Now, I would like to bring an analogy. The Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facilities. Through the agency of material nature, the rain pours water on all seeds, and according to the type of seed, they all sprout into different plants. Similarly, the Lord inspires the jivas to act, but they act differently according to their past desires. Right? So the Lord inspires the jivas to act. Right? He gives a potency for them to do whatever they wish. Right? But then it is up to their desires, their what activities they do that dictates them. So now, speaking of activities, let us go and understand karma on the platform of jnana, how to do the correct kind of activities. Now, I remember this. There is this one picture in the Bhagavad Gita where there is a man who's slaughtering an animal, and it said that in because of that karma, now what's going to happen is that in a few lives, however may lives it may be, maybe next life, the next to next, doesn't matter. There will be a time when that animal will get the body of a human, and that human will get the body of the animal, and that it will be killed, right? So, as my mother, how does it work? Like it has to like how does one person get the exact karma to be in that exact position? So then that is when my mother referred to me that the intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand. Even the wisest of wisest men are bewildered by it. So we just have to understand in simple terms that there are three kinds of activities. The first is vikarma, second is karma, and third is akarma. So what is vikarma? Vikarma are sinful things, right? Sinful activities that is performed against scriptural guidelines. Second is karma. Karma is this act, just work in which one gets the result. So it's normally used to indicate good activities that we do, pious activities for which we get, punya. And third is akarma. Akarma means the activities that we do to serve the Lord. So, out of this, the only thing that we have to try to do is akarma. Because the reason being is that people might think, oh, doing good karma will be good because we'll get punya and it'll be nice for it. But unfortunately, that is not the case because what is going to happen is that, okay, see, if you do with karma, you'll have to go to hell, you have to suffer, then you'll come back. On the other hand, if you do a lot of punya, what is going to happen is that you'll have to stay in this material world to enjoy its fruits. And then no one wants to stay in this material world because it's dukkhalaya masasha. It's full of suffering. So no one wants to stay here as well because it's temporary. You'll enjoy, the credit will go, then you have to come back and suffer again. So the best thing to do is akarma. You have to akarma means to connect all of your activities and put Krishna in the center of it. So let us say you want to do some sort of charitable thing. Let's say you want to. It's a very good thing to give some money to a charitable organization, like let's say an orphanage, to feed the kids. But then how can we make that from good karma to akarma so that the Lord will be pleased? We can do that by cooking prasad. We can cook food. We can offer it to the Lord. It's prasad, and we can offer it to the children. So we are feeding hungry children with Krishna Prasad, and them taking the Krishna Prasad will boost them in their spiritual path as well. The Lord will be pleased. So all activities we can bring Krishna into it, then it becomes akarma. So there is neither bad or good reactions. So the Lord will be pleased, and we won't have to stay here suffer to experience the reactions in this material world. Now, this is a very important slide. Action and inaction and inaction and action. So action is karma. Inaction is akarma. To not do any work that will result in reaction. Right? But we have to understand action and inaction and action. What does it mean? So action in inaction. This is something bad. This is what you do not want because there might be people being like, okay, this is too difficult for me. I do not want to do it. Let me just stay over there and let me just stay still. I won't think about anything. I won't do anything, right? But that is not the case because people who feel like it's too burdensome to do it and then think that they can just sit there doing nothing. The thing is that their mind will always be focused on objects of the sense, so they're thinking about something, sense objects, as you can see here. So there is actually action being performed in the guise of inaction. But what we actually want is inaction and action. So whatever we do, we need to bring Krishna into it. So whatever activity that we do, if we bring Krishna into it, then it will be purified and it will be in action. Whatever activities we do, if we bring Krishna into it, then we won't get the good or the bad karma. So it will be beneficial for us. Uh, so this in action and inaction, the example is how like Arjuna said that I do not want to take part in the war. I will just go to the jungle and do something. So Krishna said that is actually sinful because you are not doing your work as a Kshatriya, right? So to give up actions physically, but their mind is always contemplating on the sense objects of the sense. They may appear inactive, but their lethargic idleness is actually sinful action. It's actually sin. So what we want is inaction in action. And what we want to avoid is action in inaction. Now there is this analogy. Um, as a mechanic part, as a machine part requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance. So a Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for the action in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. He is therefore immune to all the reactions of his endeavors. So, a man, if he does everything for Krishna, keeping Krishna in the center, then he is obviously immune to all the reactions of endeavors. Now we have finished the second part, which is understanding, accurate understanding. E is over, A is also over, accurate understanding. And also the third, R is also over, that is removing reactions. That is also over. We just saw how to understand karma in terms of that. That is also over. Now we are at S, sacrifice. Um, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord goes very deeply to the different kinds of sacrifice, why it's important. Different kinds of sacrifice that are Lord, like demigod sacrifice, Brahmin sacrifice, sacrificing of objects that gives us sense enjoyment, a charitable sacrifice, pranayama. So many different kinds of sacrifices have been mentioned by the Lord. And also these are different kinds of sacrifices because they're for different kinds of people. Just like how if a person has illness, it is not like every illness in the world. Like you need to treat each illness according to the right. You need to give the right medication for each illness, right? So there are different prescribed sacrifices for different people. But the what is the ultimate goal of all sacrifice? It is to attain transcendental knowledge. It is to destroy all our sins, and it is to attain the spiritual realm. So the Lord describes so many varieties of sacrifice from 4.25 to 31 and 4.32. Just like medicine, as I said, there are different types of sacrifice that's prescribed to suit different individuals. The appropriate sacrifice depends on one's varnashrama and also their spiritual realization, how high or low, or medium, whatever. But there are common goals for sacrifice. So the first goal is to control the senses because it's because of our need to gratify our senses that we're stuck in the material world. So through sacrifice, we'll be able to control our senses. Second is to gain freedom from sinful reactions because sacrifice purifies one's existence. Third is we'll attain transcendental knowledge. We'll reveal one's true spiritual nature and remove the lust, Maya covering us. Fourth is it'll help us reach devotional service, do good devotional service. Um, one thing that I wanted to mention is that before anything, the first thing that we have to sacrifice is our pride. Um, I read it somewhere that once you sacrifice your pride and accept your true position, then you can go back to the Lord. So pride is one of the most important things. We should not think we are the ones who have to be served, or we are the ones like I have to satisfy my senses, or I am the supreme, or anything of that sort. That pride should be destroyed and sacrificed to reach Krishna. But these are very complicated, right? So many different kinds of I've not mentioned it here, but there are so many different kinds of sacrifices. But the best method in Kali Yuga is Nama Sankirtana Yajna. It is said that Krishna consciousness is considered transcendental to and superior to all other types of sacrifices mentioned in the verses. Why? First is because you're directly serving the Lord, direct connection. And so it automatically helps us control the senses. Example, like as I said, like you eat Krishna Prasad, you're able to control your senses a bit slowly. And because when we are in the service of the Lord, all our senses we are focused on that, right? So whatever activities we do, if we put a Lord in the center, then we're always constantly engaged in the seva, right? So we are slowly able to control our senses, and thus the practitioner is naturally transferred to Krishna's abode. The second is it is attained only by the mercy. Krishna consciousness cannot be achieved by merely performing the other sacrifices. It is uniquely attained through the mercy of the Supreme Lord and his devotees by constantly engaging in his service. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he gave us the uh, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It is very important that we take full opportunity of it and become Krishna conscious because it is superior to all the other sacrifices and it's the easiest way to go back to Krishna. There's this analogy of a patient who is suffering from a disorder of the bowels due to overindulgence in milk products like lactose intolerance. So a very common cure for it is to take dahi, yogurt, right? So therefore, it is the materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness, as set forth here in the Gita. So in the Gita, is said that uh, just like how Maya is an energy of the Lord and it covers us. So, but by another energy of the Lord, by Krishna consciousness, we can remove this Maya and we can understand our true position. And these kinds of sacrifices are meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. Now we move towards the conclusion. What is the entire chapter coming to? What is the essence going to be? Would anyone like to read the sloka? Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Yes, Prabhuji.
तत्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिना तत्त्वदर्शिना. Translation: Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So here, uh, Krishna is telling that to gain transcendental knowledge, you have to approach a spiritual master with two moods. One is to be submissive, and the second is to be inquisitive. And you have to render service unto him with complete humility and humbleness. And then the self-realized guru will impart knowledge. In the science of self-realization that all of us have been reading, Prabhupada says about two different methods to gain knowledge. One is the descending and one is the ascending. So the descending method is of the parampara system. You have it starts from the Lord, and then you have his many disciples, and then you have a bona fide guru, and then you go to the bona fide guru, and he gives you the knowledge. But the ascending method, Srila Prabhupada says, ascending methods are those who think that they can understand the supreme absolute truth on their own. They can concoct and understand it on their own. And Prabhupada calls that a foolish endeavor. So the only way is through this descending process of approaching a bona fide spiritual master and asking for his mercy and blessings. So bona fide path of religion, only that religion which comes from the Lord and his disciplic succession. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. That means that all the religious rules, all of the prescribed activities, what to do, what not to do, everything is instruction of Krishna himself. And those who manufacture one's own process it is the fashion of foolish pretenders. So we should not fall for these kinds of foolish pretenders. Is in the science of self-realization itself, Srila Prabhupada says that those who are genuinely wanting to find a good guru, they will find the bona fide guru. But those who want to get fooled will find these foolish pretenders. So we should not think that okay, I'll find a guru who will help me help me satisfy my senses. Maybe he'll give me some mantra that will help me make so much money or that will help me get a nice spouse. Nothing of that. So those are all foolish pretenders because we are fooling ourselves. And so because of that, we'll only get foolish pretenders. So if we have the true desire, then the Lord will bring a bona fide spiritual master in front of us to submit to. Next is non bona fide paths. So you have mental speculators, dry arguments means people who are speaking just for the sake of arguing. It's a challenge for them. So those kinds of people also exist. And then people who independent study of books also won't work because in the ISKCON disciple course, it's also said it's like the guru is the representation of Krishna, right? And it is a link between Krishna and us. So we on our own cannot establish that link. But through a bona fide guru can help us establish our link with Krishna, as you can see in the image, right? So independent study of the Shastras is good, but it will not lead anywhere properly. We need a guru to guide us and to help us connect with Krishna. That is why independent study also won't work. We need to surrender unto a bona fide spiritual master. And then, what is the secret of progress? Secret of progress is satisfaction of self-realized spiritual master. So when spiritual master is satisfied, Krishna is also satisfied, and then Krishna will give you his blessings. Now, as I said before, you need two modes of going to a guru. You need to be inquisitive. You need to be submissive. If you are, if you go in a challenging or if you go in a mood that you are superior to a guru, then not only are you wasting your time, you are insulting the guru, and that is a great offense. So that should be avoided. You should always go in an inquisitive and submissive mood, and you have to render service unto the guru. Then the guru will be pleased. See how inquiries are effective. By submission and service, one must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine understanding. When the student is submissive and always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiry become perfect. So when you render service unto in the right mode of being inquisitive and submissive, then the Guru is pleased, Krishna is pleased, and the knowledge is given. Now, you need to understand the importance of selecting the right Guru. There is a story of the blind man. So there is this man who wanted to go to his in-laws' house. This story, this story is actually told by Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was the one who actually told the story. So there is this blind man. There is this blind man who wants to go to his in-laws' house. So he goes to the city and then he gets lost. So he asks for help nearby, and then he finds this cowherd guy. So he asks this person, "Hey, I want to go to so and so house." So the person said, "Oh, my cow's calf is at their house. So you hold the tail of this cow, and it will lead you to the house." So the guy said, "Okay." So the guy held the cow's tail, and the cow did not like it. So the cow took him through the worst of the worst roads. And by the time he reached the house, what happened was that he was what happened was that he was completely covered. All of his clothes were torn off. He had scratches everywhere. Blood was leaking out. He was completely battered. And then, when the guard of the house saw him, instead of thinking he was a guest, the guard thought that he was a cow thief. So he went and started beating this guy. So the lesson you have to learn from here is that you should not choose your guru, willy-nilly. Like you have to be intelligent enough to choose the right kind of guru. And that is why, because if you choose the wrong kind of guru, even if you reach the destination, the man reached the house, but entry will not be permitted. Even if you reach the destination, entry won't be permitted. They will beat you out and kick you out. Okay? So that is why that is the importance of selecting the right kind of guru. So that's important to know. Uh, Now this is the final analogy. Uh, by that knowledge, you will cross over the ocean of miseries, even if you are the most sinful of all sinners. So the knowledge that we'll get, see, there is no man in the world who can cross the ocean, right? It is impossible. So you need a boat, you need the knowledge, you need the right kind of knowledge, or else the ocean of misery is impossible to cross on your own. So the knowledge that you receive by surrendering unto a bona fide guru is uh, is important, and that knowledge will help you pass through the ocean of miseries and will help you go back to Krishna. So I'll just give a quick recap. So the acronym is yours, EARS. So E stands for eternal education. So we understood um, how the knowledge was first given by Krishna to Vivaswan, and then how it deteriorated, and then the Lord came back again to give the knowledge to Arjuna for all of us. And then we understood the true nature of Krishna. He is eternal. He remembers everything, all the past lives. He's completely different from us. Qualitatively, we're the same. Quantitatively, we are very different. So we understood our true nature. And then next is accurate understanding. So we have to understand that different pathways to reach Lord. Uh, 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 exists, right? There are different pathways, and ultimately, bona fide pathways ultimately reach God, but there are the different degrees. So, impersonalists have their methods to go to the Brahman, but they can never go to Sri Krishna's Goloka abode, right? So that is that. And then Varnashrama system of how the current understanding is completely wrong. It is guna and karma. So it is given to those who want to do fruitful activities so that the Lord is merciful to them as well. So they can do the prescribed duties and then slowly they can be elevated to the platform of Nishkama Karma Yoga where they do their work beautifully without any detachment to the results. And then they can step onto the platform of jnana and then eventually to bhakti. Then we understand how Krishna is a supreme being. There is no one equal to him, and that praying to other demigods for boons or benefactions are like how bubbles are in the cosmic ocean, temporary and unbeneficial. So then next we move on to R, that is the removal of all reactions, both good and bad, and that is when we understood about understanding karma in terms of jnana. So we have the three kinds: vikarma, karma, akarma. Akarma is what we have to try to do, center Krishna around everything, all of our activities, and then we will be set. We'll all be good. We will not get good karma, we will not get bad karma. We won't have to stay here for much longer to enjoy or suffer the reactions. So R is also done. And then S is sacrifice. So what do we have to sacrifice? We have to sacrifice our pride, and that is all that we can sacrifice because everything else belongs to Krishna, right? Everything in the world belongs to Krishna. So we can sacrifice our pride and say that we are nothing but the servitors of Krishna, and so He will accept us and He give us the right knowledge. Why sacrifice important? Because only through sacrifice can our character be developed, and through developing our character, we can be more humble. We can understand our true nature with our true relationship with Krishna. Thank you, Hare Krishna. That's all for me. Hare Krishna. Mataji, I have a quiz. Uh, shall I
No,
post?
let's take some questions before that. First and foremost thing, I would like to thank Madhava for this wonderful session and to give a short introduction. Madhava is the dear son of His Grace Deenapan Pavan Madhavadas Prabhu and Her Grace Ramiradhika Devidasi Mata. So currently Madhava is pursuing his engineering degree from Ahmedabad. He stays in Ahmedabad. He was here till 12th grade and then he moved on to India to do his higher studies. And you're in which stream, Madhava, if I may know? You've taken which stream in engineering?
Mataji, mathematics and computer science.
Okay, maths and computer science. So he's pursuing his graduation in engineering, and he has done his Bhakti Shastri, and yes, he's been even. I think if I'm not wrong, did you give the last time also Gita Mata Bindu? Were you there, Madhava? Or you were there in that series when we did the chapter-wise Gita Mata Bindu? I think you were not there, right?
I don't
He
think so.
wasn't there. Yeah, he wasn't there. Okay. Okay. So, but actually, right from age 5 or 6, Madhava was a preacher. He was the youngest preacher. He used to sit and give classes. Haribol. So that is Madhava. He's a very good Kirtaniya also, plays very good Mridanga. And yes, he's a wonderful Vaishnava, a budding Vaishnava, a youth. So it was a very wonderful session, Madhava. Most importantly, it was so calm. Your voice, the way you took through, very, very clear, clarity of thoughts, and also the way you took through each of the section. You made it very, very simple, in fact, not very difficult to understand. Very nicely presented. Wonderful, wonderful session. Thank you, Madhava. So I request others to please give their any questions to Madhava, and then we will go on to quiz at the end. But before that, any questions, and then some words of encouragement, and then we go on for the quiz. Anybody? Yes, Ramakrishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Madhava. It was a very wonderful, compelling session. You engaged our ears onto this subject matter to make us really understand. The slides were very simple, straightforward, without much of a cluster, very perfect for a presentation like this, wherein there is not much reading from the audience, but hearing very attentively. As this is a knowledge part of it, which is being imparted by Krishna, you broke down the whole chapter into simple sections and then introduced to us the various concepts very, very wonderfully. The analogy of the boat was very interesting. Analogy of the sunrise was very interesting. And you made it very simple and easy, like why and what's the difference between a Jiva and Krishna. How Krishna is eternally the same, and whereas Jivas appear here in terms of their karma, and Krishna appears completely out of his independent nature. That was very fascinating here. A very interesting point in fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita that was spoken. And of course, you did mention a few in a very simple, fast track method of saying of different sacrifices. I was actually looking, because I am a Karma Kandi guy, so I wanted to look at a little more deeper into what exactly are the different kind of sacrifices meant for different kinds of people. But anyhow, I got a very small dose of it. That was fine. Anyhow, that was interesting also. Well, uh, so that's my comment at the moment. And when I get an opportunity to ask a question, I will do.
Thank you, Ramakrishna Prabhu. Yes, Akhilesh.
Hari Bol Madhavan. I have been absent for 3 days. I have not attended the class, so I don't know all about the before what you have said. I don't know about that. I was absent for 3 days.
The
You want to
Mataji
ask something now, Akhilesh?
No, but no, I don't want to ask something.
Okay.
Mataji Sachamaji has put it in Telegram, so you can see the previous classes. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Akhilesh. Okay. Yes, Ravi Teja Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Pranam to Ramakrishna Prabhu Sachi Mataji. Thank you, Madhavan. Nice class. You people are very pure and continuously doing the practice week by week. You are approaching gurus, learning something, kirtan, bhajan. So for me, it's only learning only and revising Bhagavad Gita. Right now, I have no much questions. Just as you told, we should not be proud, we have to be surrender. I was getting one memory. 5 to 6 years back, one time some local people are kidding you. You remember or not? Immediately you ran and came to Utumangi auntie. Okay, you remember? Is it true? Actually, I have not seen, but Tumangi was telling me today. I rescue Madhavan. What happened? Somebody is kidding him. He ran to me, so I scolded them like that. I don't know. It happened actually.
Yes, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also remember with you, like one day I was coming and you dropped me off. I was in your Nissan old car in the park
Uh,
there, like I
Okay,
remember.
so that type of surrenderness in the childhood times with the fear we do. After that, we acquire knowledge. That should not go into head and become a proud. Still, even though whatever knowledge we acquire, the Krishna power you told na, as a milk and curd and analogy you have given. Krishna Maya is more clever than us. So at that time, definitely we have to politely surrender Guru. 4.34, I have read about Guru's sloka. So that you people all know. Through you people, I am learning now. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Ravi Teja Prabhu. Yes, Keshri Mata.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams. Hare Krishna Madhava, wonderful class. Very nice, very crisp and professional speakers. I really liked it. Years, as you said, the complete fourth chapter is based on hearing through the parampara. Then a hearing parampara we are. It was like very captivating it is, and very smooth and calmly you took over the entire chapter. I was just thinking how Ramya Radhika Maji presents it. Even for the wellness, I used to depend on her. Mataji, please send me the notes, and I shall. She explains each and everything so nice and soft. The way I was, and I was just reflecting. I just messaged her Mama also now. Mama, Mataji, where you are? Madhavan started. She said she's on duty. Mama will hear your recording. She said. Very nice, Bita. Very nice. I really liked it. The first time I'm hearing actually. In fact, Tulsi and Hasini I've heard before. Sri Lakshmi and Madhavan I'm hearing for the first time. Very nice. All the best. All the best. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Keshri Mata. Urushi Mata.
हरि बोल माधवन. हरे कृष्णा. प्रश्न आपने इतनी सरलता से समझाया है कि अभी कोई प्रश्न का उसमें किसी संशय का ही विषय नहीं है. कोई डाउट नहीं. बहुत अच्छा बोलते हो माधव. वहाँ गांधीनगर जाके अच्छा सीख रहे हो. तो वहां भी आपके संग अच्छे हैं ये लग रहा है. माता जी रामकृष्ण प्रभु और सच्ची माता जी के जो संस्कार है उसको आप आगे लेके जा रहे हो. बहुत अच्छा प्रीचिंग कर सकते हो वहां भी. बहुत अच्छी बात है. बहुत आनंद हुआ. और ऐसा लग रहा है कि आपने विषय को समझा है तो इसलिए आप बहुत अच्छे से समझा सक रहे हो. तो थैंक यू माधव. थैंक यू सो मच. और आप और भी प्रगति करो ऐसी भगवान से हम प्रार्थना करेंगे. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Urushi Mata. Thanks for your kind words. और किसी को कुछ प्रश्न है?
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams.
Yes, Mata, go ahead. I think Nupur Mata, right?
Yes, Mataji, yes, Mataji.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Madhavan, very nicely taken this class. Very simplified and very informative. I just want to know one thing, how you are practicing Krishna consciousness there in your college.
Mataji, so we have this now, although inactive, because of the Gita session, we have the reading session every day at 6:30. So I'm joining for that, and I also chant as well. And during the weekends, during Sunday, I get the opportunity to go to the temple. And also here in ISKCON temple, there's a youth group. So there is a Prabhuji who I'm connected with who gives us different sevas. Like if he needs any help, he calls us and we go and do the seva there as well. So that is the way in which.
Nice, but like locally, like who are not before in Krishna consciousness, how you are dealing with them, how you are teaching them.
No, we have like with my friends and all, we do have like conversations about God, who is God, what does he want from us, what is our position. I do have interactions with my roommate and whatnot. But unfortunately, none have taken it up that seriously. But let us see what time has to say.
But keep trying. Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate your efforts from there from your college. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nupur Mata.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Is this a question time now?
It's quiz time now. Yeah. Yes, prepared his quiz.
Oh, no questions. Should
You
we
want-
take questions? No?
Prabhuji wants to ask a
allowed?
question, I think.
Allowed or not allowed?
Yeah, you can. Very simple
Okay.
question, please.
I don't know if it's a simple or it's complicated. Madhavan will decide that. So I would like to leave it to him. I was very much intrigued by looking at the fourth chapter. I saw that only in one verse, probably in the third or fourth verse, Arjuna asked this question, Krishna, how do I understand that you have spoken this to previously to sun god Vivaswan? Because we both look to be like buddies. We are growing together, we eat together, and so on. So how come suddenly you are saying to me, is it that you're faking, or is it something that you want to bewilder me? But Krishna gave a very solid, wonderful response. And then he said, this science of yoga I've previously spoken, I'm unchanged. And whereas you have taken many words and you don't remember, and so on. And then Arjuna did not further contest. He just kept quiet, I believe. And Krishna took over the whole of the chapter till 42 verses and went on. So my perspective of asking this question is, if someone asks a question, so will the reply be so long? Just like I asked this question, so will your response also will be like a full chapter? Or is that the tradition, or is that the trend that Krishna wants to set in? Or it could be just, okay, I spoke it, that's it, forget it. You just listen to me what I'm saying. Will that be the kind of an answer? I would like to hear from you.
Prabhu, just to make sure I understand your question right, what you're trying to say is that depending on the length of the question, does the answer have to be equivalent to that, or is Krishna saying, okay, this is what it is and accept it for as it is? Am I right?
Mm.
Prabhu, like any question, like can be, any even the most simplest of question can be like beaten around the bush and made it, very long. Even some of the most complex questions might have the simplest answers, I feel. So you just have to take it for what it is because the Lord said it. That's
Fantastic. Yes, I fully agree to it. The Lord is fully independent. He can beat around the bush, or he can expand it unlimitedly based upon that. But I found it interesting. The question that Arjuna asked was not for the sake of asking to share the information, but it was to inspire Krishna to speak that science, what he had spoken previously to Vivaswan. And he was actually very eager to hear. Say, in the second chapter, I think when who was speaking the second chapter, it was mm, who spoke that?
Sri
It was
Lakshmi,
Sri
Sri
Lakshmi,
Lakshmi.
Sri
Lakshmi
Lakshmi.
spoke. Yes, yeah. In that chapter, when Arjuna actually became his disciple, and then he asked him to instruct. But at this point of time, there was no instruction was asked by Arjuna, but it was a very genuine query to really know this science. And so Krishna, as a great friend, took that great efforts to explain and expand the entirety of this science for Arjuna to make himself fully peaceful so that he can fight. Yesterday, Hanuman was saying, give up the lethargy and start to fight. So, yuddhasva vigatasjvaraha. So that's what he had spoken. And so now, Krishna was very eager whether Arjuna has really taken up that spirit which he had communicated and is ready to fight. And in that spirit, he had made an inquiry, what exactly is this science? And therefore, Krishna took furthermore length of a long pain to explain to him the entire science and how things work, how one gets into higher worlds or falls down into the lower worlds, but how one has to do his action. We very nicely explained that action in action and inaction in action. So those concepts were very much inserted within that answer. So the point that I wanted to speak across is the answer depends upon the intensity and the interest of the inquirer. So it is normally not with respect to the person who wants to speak. We always require to look at the question, and then the response also has to be based upon the integrity of that question which has been asked. So if we give a very short answer to someone who's really inquiring and want to know the depths of it, and he just gets, a small multiple choice question answers like only tick mark, then he will be dissatisfied. And that's where he goes around to find out his answer and is not feeling satisfied, whereas Krishna can satisfy. So the point that I wanted to state is like, we have to have this aptitude to understand the depth of the question and the sincerity of the inquirer, and then we have to make an answer. So this will be a good lesson for you also when you are going to be in your sessions, in your class, in your college, and what kind of an inquiry you make and what kind of an inquiries others make with your professors and teachers. You can see the difference. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Madhava. That was very interesting to hear from you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Madhava. So you want to post the quiz?
Yes, Madhuri, I'll just take a look.
Got it.
Sachimataji rings an alarm to me and she cautions me what kind of a questions I should frame. So that's a cue that she's giving to me. Yes. So that's
I
a quiz
pasted the
from
link.
Madhava. Okay. I would like to take that quiz. Are there any, what do you call, oh, it's in through Google Forms, is it?
Yes, sir. Google Form.
Okay. So we'll straight away go take that.
Madhavan, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
For the quiz, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. For the
You
quiz.
listen to the notes. So try your best. Whatever you can understand, just go ahead.
You're in which grade, Akhilesh?
Third.
Oh, very nice. Very nice, very nice. Very good. Whatever you know, you write. If you do not know, no problem. You can learn, you can hear, you can listen, and then you write. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, beta. Huh? అదంతా అయిపోయిందా ఇక్కడ చేసుకో ఇప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేస్తావా
So we have submitted. Can we leave now? Is that how it could be? Thank you, Madhavan. Thanks a
Yes,
lot.
I think
Thank
you're
you.
done.
Thank you.
Thanks to all of you who have joined the session. And we request that you please be there for the following next further sessions also. We have just finished the 4th chapter today. I request you to continue for the next rest of the 12 chapters. 14 chapters, 18 chapters in all. So to give the much needed encouragement to all the children. And thanks once again, Madhava. Wonderful. Thank you. And the quiz also was very nice, interesting, and simple also. It's better, I suggest all of you do the Google form. That is easy to do also. Those quizzing and all, we are not able to go into it because maybe there are some restrictions and we are not able to go through it. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So with this, I end the session here for today. Okay, thanks once again.